to now to contract a loan of 20 million euros in the coming days. So I am comfortable with that, and like I said, it is the role of the general manager and of course the financial resources department to coordinate their efforts and with the public accountant to make sure that when it comes to budgetary matters, that they continue to work in harmony and to coordinate matters, that we wouldn't have to run into no kind of financial difficulties, which we have experienced during a short period. So it calls for stricter budgetary control, proper analysis of the financial situation as we move along, and that will help us to really be in a better situation as far as managing the affairs of the country, making the right investments that are so urgently needed, and keeping the operation costs to a certain level.
Yet the opposition president, keeps ponging on the fact that the collectivity's finances is in a dire situation, and we see also in the news that you've been summoned by the prefect to pay companies that are owed money, and there's monies that is owed here. What is the exact financial situation?
Honestly,
is this just figures and numbers, and the cash flow is not there?
No, what has to be said here, and I really regret very much the fact that the prefect had to do what you call the management d'office. In other words, he ordered the payment of to 4 companies because it's not that we had a cash flow problem at the time. It's just that we feel, at least the services failed, and putting all the documents together and making sure that they responded within a relatively short period of time. That's very regretful. And again, when I said that we're going to coordinate things differently, that's to make sure between the general manager, the director of financial resources, and the public accountant, things are better coordinated to avoid, because a simple letter from one service to another service would have avoided that, and that we didn't manage to do accurately. And like I said, I regret that very much, because it leaves a stain on the collectivity, and that we have to erase it very rapidly, and by making sure that in the future we don't have the prefect intervening in the day-to-day operations of the collectivity, so we don't give them the opportunity to do so. And the fact that it's not my saying, but is the public accountant, Madam Kuti, who's claimed that the financial situation is in order, is a clear indication that what the opposition are shouting doesn't hold water. And that too, like I said, I hope now that we could put all our situation before us to rest. The cash flow situation is a reality, because you don't forget we spend over 42 still. We are 39 spending. But when we finish with complete work on the college in La Savane, it's 42 million euros, which is a huge amount from the budget. And we did it without securing a bank loan. That must be made clear. And even though there's a substantial amount of European funds and state funds, what you need to know, and I guess you're fully aware of this, is that you have to advance the money to be reimbursed. So every time they send somehow a call for 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, you just have to find it and provide it so that they could pay the companies for who's carrying out the operation. So I am very pleased with the fact that with all that financial constraint, we still managed to pay our salaries monthly, even though we owe a few of the contractors. We still managing to pay portions, and that's what will be happening over the next 2 weeks. Pay out some of what is owed, and that's why securing a bank loan is so essential to us to carry out our future operations.
Will this bank loan be a burden on the population?
No,
are we going to see extra taxes and loans? Because the collection of taxes has been reduced just by a small little margin compared to last year.
And what we need to know is that we're in a position where we can easily secure a bank loan. Okay, because there are calculations that are made, ratios that are examined annually, and we fall in a category where within 3 years, if need be, we can reimburse whatever loan we have out there. And these are the ratios that the banks look at before they could discuss with you whether they're going to give you a loan or not. Okay? And the good thing about our situation is that we fall within that bracket, so securing a bank loan could be done with relative ease. And that's why we're doing that right now, and that would give us some cash flow to be able to carry out certain operations and pay what is owed to certain companies, which I insisted, pay the smaller ones before you move to the bigger ones, because they are less financially weaker, than the bigger multi companies.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a position that I took, and I said it clearly to Madame Kuti that whenever these mandats come in, make sure the smaller ones are being paid in priority. Okay, because the ability to resist, certain constraints is lesser than that of the multi-million-dollar companies. Voila. But I'm very optimistic about the financial situation of the collectivity. Despite our challenges, we're in a position where we could pay our bills.
So this bank loan is going to is just to pay bills and function of the collectivity?
And do a little investment as well. So secure investment costs or certain operations and from the investment section, yes.
Let's move to the Beaupertuis land issue, where the courts have now given the collectivity the authorization to proceed with the purchasing of that property, 22 lots, if I may.
Let me say this, Jean-Marc. First and foremost, I want to thank all those who felt it important and necessary to work with us the day when I called for the march over to the old house. It was a very significant move that has the importance, because the first, as we sat in Paris with the administrator, he made a reference to that march.
Oh, really?
Yes, he did. Because it was our way of saying, no way, Jose, you are not gonna sell this land to the highest bidder, do that land speculation, and we will remain, just as spectators. When you pass in front of those properties, you look in, and you just see the gatekeeper there asking you, if you lose it, you lost anything here, and by being bold and brave and stand up bold, firmly, and say this not gonna happen on our watch, we send a clear message, and that paved the way for dialogue. We had 2 consecutive meetings with them, with our lawyers, and the prefect, who at the time was asked by the minister to intervene in terms of a mediating role to secure an understanding or a reasonable conclusion to the event. So we arrived at a figure of $38 million, euros, for the purchasing of the entire property. And the court recently, as you said just now, gave the administrator authorization now to carry out the process. During my visit to France, I was hoping to meet with them. We had a meeting scheduled to settle on how the payments are to be made. But unfortunately, that meeting didn't come off. But this week, for sure, we will have it on video conference, and we will settle as to how the payments are going to take place.
Who is purchasing the property? The collectivity
is purchasing the property.
Saint-Samar
is also purchasing a portion for the tune of 7 million euros. And Terre Caraïbe, which is the EPF, they are purchasing for. But again, let's be clear on that. What Terre Caraïbe is purchasing is for the collectivity's use. No other. They cannot sell a square meter of that land if it's not sold to the collectivity. That's law. Okay? They are doing what they call a portage financier. So they carry the financial responsibility on behalf of the collectivity.
So even if you are in default of paying, they will not be able to
postpone the period. let's say we have 10 years to pay back, which is the agreement, 10 years or 13 years to pay it back. And at the end of the 13 years, you can't meet your payments. The most they can do is set it back for another 5 years. But under no circumstances, they are allowed by law to say, John is interested in a portion, let's sell an acre or two to John.
Because I remember during one of the territorial council, the opposition also mentioned that and stated and asked you whether you have any proofs, and now you're saying it's by law. You said it at the time that you have a letter stating that was written.
There's agreement between us and them. Then there's law as to how guidelines as to how the FAF, Terre Caraïbe functions. Okay, their role, their mission. Okay, that's to work along with the collectivities and do exactly what they're doing. It's part of their mission. Secure land for negotiate prices, negotiate different situations on behalf of the collectivity or behalf of any community in Guadeloupe. Yeah. That's their role and mission. So now we being part of the APF, they have to respect those guidelines. Yeah. So I have no fear there, contrary to what was argued, that the land will be taken away from us from APF and APF would sell it to the Guadeloupeans or whatever. That's not necessarily from the truth. That can't happen.
Okay. So the collectivity is purchasing a certain amount. Terre Caraïbe is purchasing a certain amount for the collectivity.
Yes.
And Simsamar.
Simsamar. Yes.
Okay. So the part of the collectivity. There's part of the collectivity that
18 million. Yes.
That you will purchase with from the collectivity coffers.
Definitely. Yeah.
How soon do you think that this will happen?
Well, that was the purpose of my meeting with them. But like I said, it didn't happen for different reasons. But a meeting was scheduled this week on a video conference, and we will have those details ironed out. So as soon as I get them, I will be able, during our next presentation, to share that information with you.
I know it may be too early to ask you what you will do with that particular property, but my question would be, what will happen to some of the Beaupertuis heirs that are maybe living on those properties that they will have to leave? What will happen?
No, let's put it this way. Once we have
you will sell back to them
the property, we would be able to sit with them, yes, and have discussions. But what our commitments would be for now, I'll put on hold until, further down where we could first of all secure. My first concern is to secure the 38 million to purchase the entire property. And so within the next few months, we would be in a position to do that. And then from there, we would further discussions with the Beaupertuis on St. Martin and see what happens. But whatever could be done must be done according to the rules and regulations, in the sense that if we purchase a property for $5 a square meter, €5 a square meter, with taxpayers' money,
you can't sell it for $2.50, $2.50.
For $2.50. Because how do, and you will have to deal with a prosecutor on that ground. So I won't be able to get into that, even if my heart would say, do that, make a kind gesture. But you're part of a system, and the rules and regulations in the system are clearly outlined. So you can go contrary to rules and regulations.
Let's stick to land and property. 50 page géométrique, this is still pending. Some people are still wondering what is happening. Some got favorable answers, but yet don't know the price that you have decided on.
I know too that issue came up during a council meeting, and I'm saying here, I'm just waiting a final report from the domain. Whatever you're going to do must be in accordance with proposals from the domain. Okay, you could either take it up or take it down. That you have the ability to do, but you still want to make sure that figure is clearly indicated.
But the collectivity has the competence of the 50 page géométrique. The land belongs to you, so you can decide to sell it at. You cannot decide to sell it at the price you wish.
No, you have. It's law that you must make reference to the domain estimation. That is important to us, and I want to stick to that because, like I said, who to help? Who and I said the council help you laugh, don't necessarily help you cry. And you just follow what is being said, give it away, sell it, make sure it is low cost. All that I've taken into account, but I just want to know exactly what the domain evaluation is.
If the domain evaluation is more than what has been proposed from previous mandates,
that's what I'm saying. I'll have now the liberty to say, based on what the domain is offering, and able to justify why I'm lowering the cost. Okay, but I still need that base point of reference. And for once I have that point of reference or that figure of reference, I will be able, I'll be able to make the adjustments necessary.
Again, the people will say, "How soon? How soon?"
Well, I asked the prefect to, because it's not me, who's keeping back the process. Leave it. If it was up to me, left to me to decide on it, it would have already been settled. But because you still need this state services to intervene and provide that information, that's why it's dragging its feet. So I asked the prefect last week to intervene and ask the domain to speed up the process. As a matter of fact, I asked him, given the fact that there's so many dossiers out of St. Martin, I asked again, in line with the whole fact that the prefecture is now on St. Martin full-fledged, if that service also be introduced to St. Martin, and that we will no longer have to refer to the domain in Guadeloupe. So I prefer to put that on the table too, that the domain services be established on St. Martin as well. Because every time you need to evaluate, even for to rent a property, okay, you want to rent a building, the domain got to give an estimate on the property.
If the collectivity wants to rent a building.
If the collectivity, of course, if the collectivity wants to rent that property, we need guidelines from the domain. And so we renting a lot of properties right now because, of our situation. Some of the buildings are no longer fit to house different services of the collectivity, so we have to be moving from one location to the next. So renting is a common thing for the collectivity at this stage. Mm-hmm. Of course, it has a financial burden to it, but we have to assume. Yeah. And the domain plays this role because they have to give the estimation of the cost of the building that we are going to rent.
Yeah. Our energy situation is in a bad state, according to the last time I spoke to Ms. Bernadette Davis. She's saying, we really have to work on conserving the maximum amount of energy for now because, our power plant is not in good condition.
The power plant is not in good correction, and she said it accurately on this talk show, I think. What must be made known is that they have to make some bad deals. I don't know if they're trying to save money, but they purchased 2 engines from somewhere in Korea, yes, and the engines are giving much problems right now. There's some factory default, and it's reacting. It has a serious impact on the production of electricity on the island. And it's impacting the whole economy of the country and also the social life on the land because however often you'll have outages that they're trying to work on, but that's still the reality, and it could last for some period of time. And as long as the new plant is not constructed, then nothing can happen. There can be no improvement in the situation. Well, there's some intermediate programs that they're looking at, but you don't know how soon they'll be up and running. So we are doing our utmost to work with them. It is our duty and responsibility to provide the property to where the construction of the new plant will take place. So we are trying to secure that property. The same Samar is on the front line with that. So I need an update exactly from Vice President Richardson, so how far they are with that, with those discussions and negotiations. and that will help us to secure the property that Albioma will be able to take over the property and begin the construction.
What type of plant? Because by 2030 we should be transitioning to some type of renewable and sustainable
Well,
energy.
let me be clear in that it's a whole European decision that was taken some years back, where they're moving from the common carbon energy that we know of to move towards now the whole ecological transformation that the world is experiencing, especially on the European level. The whole idea is to move towards renewable energy when it comes to solar energy, or when it comes to I call wind, the wind energy, the aeolian energy, aeolian, and all form of renewable energy that we could look at as geothermic energy. These are the way forward. So they are placing great emphasis on these new form of energy, and that's so we have to make adjustments in that area as well on St. Martin, knowing the fact that energy is a responsibility of the collectivity. So that's in this case providing the land for the construction of the new energy production plant,
which will be a sustainable plant or renewable.
Yeah, well,
energy?
it can go both ways. It could go both ways, because it's not between today and tomorrow that you will have total renewable energy turning over in the plant. So the system is adjusted, will be adjusted to meet both systems. So for a period of time, still you would still need the fossil energy that we know of, which is the fuel. That could still be around for a period of time till gradually you move away from that, and you look at more renewable energy as a source of production. That comes as you move along in the future.
Was that part of your trip to France a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, to discuss the whole situation, and also look at the system of the solar panel, because there's a bonus, there's a decree that came out where families who wants to install a solar panel system on their house can enjoy a bonus from the state to the tune of 9,000 to 10,000 euros once installation is completed. But that for now, that's not applied on St. Martin,
because you have
because we are into Article 74.
And you have the competence of
what was made clear is that we have to now do our own our own deliberation. We have to pass a deliberation on the council, which I will give some attention pretty soon. Our council have to adopt a deliberation where we clearly outlining the content of the same decree for St. Martin to be able, at least the families of St. Martin, to be able to benefit from that bonus, which is allocated by state funds. So we're going to move on that very rapidly, because I know for sure certain families would prefer produce their own electricity, and excess of electricity could be sold to EDF.
Yeah.
Okay?
But the bonus is going to come from the collectivity, or it's going to come from the state?
From state. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a way of reducing costs. That's a way of assisting and going towards energy consumption.
And that will only be for solar panel, or
right now for solar panel. What's going on in Guadeloupe and Martinique is for solar panel. So once your family could set up a solar panel system, you are entitled to this bonus.
So we taking a little step backward out of Article 74, or?
No, it's part of that. Well, like I said, adjustment is made once we pass a deliberation in the council.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's so that all people could enjoy that benefit. I don't see why they should be deprived of that, especially if you're going for the next 2, 4, 5 years, you don't know how long. You could have chances are we can have outages, because there's still an ongoing battle between the EDF and this Korean company over the engine that is not living up to expectation, to standards.
Let's talk a bit about your tour you had concerning the projects that is ongoing or that is finished that you have completed for this?
Oh, the field
this
trip
year?
that we did the other
the
day?
field trip, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was pleased to have your technicians or your assistants supporting us on that field trip. What is, I think, most ridiculous, and I must be clear on this right now, is that you had the toilets in Orient Bay. You had the toilets in cul-de-sac, severely devastated after the passing of Orma. And that administration, former government, who would like to brag on how much money they left in the coffers, turned their back on these two facilities that is so needed on St. Martin as a tourist destination, both for the native population and for the visitors. You must have these facilities available, and yet they chose to abandon and not to pay attention to it. But we decided to hold the bull by his horns and make sure that the repair work, long awaited, was handled and is now in operation. So I went there with a team to look at it and to say, yeah, it's now publicly since, okay, it was open since last year, both cul-de-sac and Orient Bay. But, I did a field trip to make sure everything is in operation and is functioning properly. And then after that, we visited the two schools where we did some work there, especially the École Rogers, the Jason Rogers, maternelle, kindergarten school, because there too, they were missing a facility that should have been there long before our coming to our office and to power.
Employees who had some grievances.
Yes, that's what I said. They are now settled because we built a facility that was owed to them over a period of time. So the director has his office.
The director did not have an office?
Yes, but this office space is now over to the concierge, who has to supervise, be there to make sure that the security measures are in place, because, again, it's a kindergarten school, and so extra security measures are needed, and the concierge needs space to do all that. So they both now have their own space. And then the ASEM, those who take care of the children, alongside the teacher, they have their space too for where they take their pause. They go on recess, so to speak. They have an area where they can sit, eat comfortably, and relax till time to go back in the classroom. So all these issues were handled, so we wouldn't have any complaints of this nature anymore, because we again took the bull by its horns, and I'm very pleased with the efforts that our technical services are making to make sure that we respond to the calls coming from the different schools. And same way with next door, Early Gibbs, we had to put on their building too, that will not only serve Grenka School, but all the schools who are involved in Natasha and the whole swimming program, in the sense that all the children coming by bus will now be able to go to Early Gibbs, go to the dressing room, and change, go to the beach on Grenka's beach, and do their swimming lessons, then come back, shower, change, and get back on the bus to come back to Marigot or go to French Quarter, wherever they are, whichever school they're coming from. That facility was urgently needed, and we see it fit to put it in place now. And from that, we moved down to the Caserne des Pompiers.
Before we go to the Caserne des Pompiers, the work at the schools and the toilets was contracted or was done by the technical services?
No, it was contracted. Outside companies did intervention. And all that costing. So when, people need to know that we are spending money. We are not, we are not, dilapidate. We are not wasting taxpayers' money. We are putting it to good use. These are important operations. They're not costing millions, but if you add up 3,000 here and 4,000 there and 10,000 there or 15,000, at the end of it, it can easily run into billions of euros spent on different operations that serve the general interest.
Yeah.
So I'm very pleased in my role as president to report that we are making strides in the best interest of our country and its people. And it's in this same line of reasoning. Yes.
Go ahead.
Now, the same line of reasoning, we can move to the Caserne des Pompiers, the fire department, where in the beginning we had some issues because we made some promises to carry out some work to repair a devastated building from Orma that was abandoned by the previous government. Again, they keep telling you how much millions they left in the coffers, but all these things gone unnoticed. So I find it is most ridiculous to come and air or to sit in the council, never mind. Every time we mean, j'ai laissé 77 millions de trésorerie. Nonsense. Spend it. Do what has to be done in the interest of the workers and the interest of the people of the land. Nothing of that sort was done, you know. And not to add that portion that went back to France because it was not used by the collective. And the money that you don't use is the money that you would definitely lose. And that's what has happened to the collectivity. But they're not talking about that. Well, the people need to know that. So get back to my point. We spent some hundred thousands of euros to repair the caserne. So, well, right now it's a construction site, but in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we were told that everything will be back to normal. Their sleeping zone will be brand new, very much modernized, and they'll be able to take their rest in a very comfortable situation. And this is our efforts. Various adjustments were made, and once this phase of the work is completed, we would have tackled another phase in the land on the side there where the boat is stored, where we're gonna build another facility there to increase what should I say, the housing quarters for the firemen, and in a longer term we would have to construct a new headquarters for we call it État Major of the fire department. As you all know now, since January of this year, we are fully in charge of the fire department. This is a political decision that I made once I got elected. I want to make sure that we control our fire department. We do our own hiring, our own training. And let me pass to say that I was there on Saturday celebrating with them what you call la Journée Nationale des Sapeurs-Pompiers, the National Day of the Firemen. And my colleague, and who's now the president, Mr. Cox, Stephen Cox, as president of the board of directors, is doing an outstanding job. I commend him for that. And just to remind them and to thank the workers, the firefighters, for their dedication, their professionalism, very skillful in carrying out their task and their mission. And I want to let them know that they have a full backing, the full support of the president of the collectivity. And going into a hurricane season, I wish them well, and I know that they will continue to display their good sense of understanding, their sense of responsibility, and of their professionalism. Their dedication needs not mentioned because it comes with the territory. So I applaud their effort, and again, they have my full support.
Next, you move next door to the Collège 900.
No, we did a Collège 900 with the teaching staff of the Collège Swaliga, with the Préfet, and also the vice-rector. And the purpose of that was to make a clear declaration that we will not be able to complete the work so that the college could be ready for operation in September. That had to be made clear. And teachers had to have the clear understanding that the effort is there. But not just that you're going through a hurricane period. You don't know, there are many uncertainties. You don't know if you'll be able to complete the full phase, because phase 1 is the building, which is practically completed, but phase 2 now is the whole road network. All adjustments have to be done there. So we are not certain that we'll be able to have the road constructed so the traffic in and out would be able to be managed properly. So therefore, we prefer secure that and let them know that we have to now look at January as an opening period. I can't say when in January, but the new guidelines is that in January month we could able to announce the opening of the college. Again, that is a very serious operation. We're looking at for 2 million euros. I don't know what it is for us to know how easy one could understand how much financial effort is put into constructing the Collège 900 and also repairing completely Collège 600. But we have spent a lot of money from taxpayers' money rather, on those two major operations. But thank God still, after paying out so much money, we're still in a position to keep our budget balanced, pay our salaries monthly, pay our fournisseurs, suppliers, even though we owe to a certain extent the certain contractors and certain suppliers for what they have supplied to the collectivity. But like I said, with a bank loan that we're now working diligently on securing, we would be in a position to pay all our bills.
How soon the suppliers that are owed to will be paid?
Well, we are paying them gradually. But I know once we secure the bank loan, we're in a better position to make all the major payments to our suppliers and to the contractors who have worked with the collectivity. The final field trip, Gemar, that has its importance as well, is the old tourist office building, which has been repaired. It tried to maintain its architecture, and it will be ready within another month or so. And the services of the cultural department will be moving in there, and moving out of the rundown building of the old
girls' school.
The old girls' school, which has a good girls' school. I mean, you know something. I mean, you've been around for a while. Yeah, I'm not a young man, but you've been around for a while still that you could make reference to the girls' school. No, that was my class en enfantine. I started out there at age 5.
Okay.
Yes. No, the point is that you're looking at the cultural department to do some great work there in terms of shaping the cultural reality of the country, supporting the cultural arts, making sure that our book writers, our poets, our dancers, our whatever form of the cultural arts you're involved with, there will be events, and the cultural associations will be invited to make proposals, and the cultural department will be able to support and encourage cultural events at that venue. So we'll be giving cultural life to showcase the identity of St. Martin from a cultural perspective.
So you'll be able to display.
Yes, that's the whole purpose of it, and I'm sure that Madame Mengo is very much eager to get things started in that spirit. So I'm pleased to know that the work is being finalized, and once that is completed, like I said, we will move into cultural events at that venue.
A few controversial issues has been circulating in our community. The summer jobs. Apparently, there was some misunderstanding, or it's not going to happen. It will happen. Well, can you clarify a bit? The collectivity don't have any money to have.
I want to start with that.
To have those summer students or those students, come and continue their, have their experience at the collectivity and have their summer job.
Thanks for bringing that point on the front burner. Knowing as a former student myself, right here in Guadeloupe, I know what it's cost. The difficulties you have when your parents are not in a position to send you regularly monies to take care of the family, to take care of yourself. And yet, because you're a student, you need to continue your studies and everything. So with that in mind, Jamal, my decision is to make sure that annually the vacation program be carried out. And I have made that clear over and repeated it times. Why some people choose to say they're going to defy the president on this one because they need this, they need that, they need the other, I don't understand it. Yes, you could have little concerns here and there, especially when I guarantee you that efforts will be made to provide extra support and all the material that is needed. What bothered me the most is when the nonsense was repeated and was told to the students who want to apply for those summer jobs. And what was told to them is most ridiculous. It was told to them that the collectivity do not have no funds available this year, so therefore the program would be cancelled.
It was told by whom? The collectivity?
That's what the students
Or
been
man on the street?
saying. The students been saying that's the answer when they called to ask what is
So
happening.
the services of the collectivity.
It seems as if the service of the collectivity was sharing that information with them. Nothing further from the truth. Here, let me set the record straight. 85% of that program is supported by the European funds, the European Social Funds, the Fonds Social Européen. Okay? So which means that money is available. We just have to pay the bill to be reimbursed by the collectivity. 85%. So every 1,200 euros that is given to each child for the month that they would spend with the collectivity, 85% of that money comes from European funds to be reimbursed to the collectivity. So why would you say no? Why would you not support the students by providing the service for them? And that was what it bothered me, and I was very much disturbed by the answer given to them and by the attitude of some persons who just tell themselves, we are not doing it.
Do you see political manipulation there?
What do you think?
I'm asking you.
To be honest with you, my gut feeling is that yes, people have been used by political figures to try to discredit, try to humiliate, try to embarrass, the collectivity, because they know fully well that the president, during his trip to France, where he particularly went to see the students to find out about their situation, and reminded them that yes, the summer job program is available, they tried to contradict by carrying out this campaign to weaken this collectivity. But they won't be successful in their endeavors.
The program is going to be the same program the whole 2 months, or it has been reduced, or the amount of students, the amount of students has been reduced.
It's not going to be reduced. It's just that it could start a few days later than scheduled. Okay. But it won't be reduced.
So that was not part of the budgetary cuts that.
No, you can't make cuts there, Jamal.
Needs to happen.
Especially when it is supported by European funds. Okay? So, like I said, I did not at all digest the fact that propaganda went out, and yes, all of it politically motivated, which again is regretful. You don't play politics with the young people's situation, because you know how much they look forward to this opportunity. What's 1,200 euros for a youngster studying in Guadeloupe, Martinique, or in France? It's a lot, Jean-Marc. So we couldn't afford to do them that injustice. So that explains my disappointment and my reason for making the statement that I made.
Before we go to the next controversial issue, I was looking at the deliberations that was passed on the Territorial Council, and I felt on this one, which is mesures fiscales destinées à encourager la libération du foncier, des donations entre vifs et faciliter le règlement de succession aux autres démarches administratives. Can you? Succession
when it comes
is
to
an
fiscal
issue.
issues, I support, but I would prefer that my fiscal man.
You leave it into Alain hands.
He's the specialist on fiscal matters.
But it's about successions.
It's about paving the way. Because you got two things. You got the fiscal measures that have been introduced, but outside of that, we have and they work closely also to get his advice. And the manager of the foncier, the department that we have just created to take care of the land issues. Okay?
Yeah.
Agency, the land agency,
land
Agence
agency.
Foncière de la Collectivité de Saint-Martin. And right now to September, he's doing all his researches and preparation. Of course, we are getting a location where the whole hiring of the additional staff members will be done. And by September, he'll be up and running, where people will be able to receive the general public with all the land issues, the title, having a proper title, having the succession problems resolved and all that. That will be in effect as of this September of this year.
Well, let's go to my final questions. The Petrus saga. I mean, you took a while to make a public statement. It's in the news. I can't do without asking you
I didn't say
that question. We choose not to invite her. We want to say it publicly, not to put salt in the wound. But since you're there and you made a statement, what's her position with the party and how?
No, well, listen, it's an issue that, like you said, you couldn't sweep under the mat. Let's be clear in that. I personally, I try to avoid dealing with it for a period of time, just to have a better understanding. But most importantly, to give her an opportunity to come and speak to the council members when it was convenient to have it done. She came, we had a one-on-one discussion on it, and I understood her concerns. What happened? I had a little issue with the fact that, she didn't have the knowledge of what was in the content, or the content of the suitcase, because as elected person and as a simple citizen, you should know that if you're taking a suitcase from someone, that you have the least to do is to say what's in it. To be that simple. So I was a little bit troubled by that.
She was a bit naive about it. I think she was a bit naive.
We got to face the reality. So very much naive about not asking that simple question, what's in it? Because according to her, she discovered when the douanier, the custom officer, opened the suitcase in front of her on the counter. That's when she discovered what was the content in the suitcase. So I was a bit, honestly, but like I said, in the interest of good governance and transparency, I gave her that opportunity to speak directly to the colleagues, and
politically in the party,
no, well, you're hearing rumors, but no one haven't come to me and say this is this is that. So I will continue to.
She's still a member of.
But yes, you can. Nobody's gonna say she's no longer a member of the party or put her out. Or no. She has until 2007, just like I myself has until 2007 to be a full-fledged member of the council in the ruling majority.
But on a national level, they really, expand and talked about that issue pretty.
Well, I know Tayo, the president of the party, did make a statement. I haven't heard any movement since on that particular issue. So
good. Thank you, President. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. I made a promise to come with you to see you guys once per month. And spend a whole entire hour. So the captain can't reproach me of anything, neither you. I gave you my time. And I'm living up to my commitment to the radio.
Thank you, Mr. Mussington, President Mussington. If you missed this program, it's available on our Facebook page. Makiba has it live, has it there for you. It's going to be posted instantly, so you can go back and view it as much as you wish. For me, I should be back with you this evening for 37 square miles.